भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. The 15th verse. शब्दमायावृतो नैव तमसा याति पुष्करे भिन्ने तमसि चैकत्वम् एक एवानुपश्यति. The Upanishad is addressing the fundamental cause for fundamental problem of all human beings, which is ignorance or tamas. The entire effort, as we have been stressing, is to remove the ignorance of self. The ignorance about my own true nature. It is funny, if you look at it, that I do not know my true nature. And yet, the other funny aspect is, world can still go on. A person has undergone transactions in the world for a number of years without truly knowing oneself. Not only number of years, aneka janma sampraptah karma bandha vidahine. So, aneka janma, from janmas after janmas, a jiva is taking birth and going through all these life experiences and not knowing what is dukkha, what is sukha. The same old mosquito bite example. Once you start scratching, it seems that it is pleasurable. So, not even having viveka between what is pain and what is pleasure, what is sukha, what is dukkha, the person keeps on undergoing one life experience after another. And this is all because of the tamas, of the ignorance which is there in human mind. And Shastra comes to rescue us, to give us viveka jnanam, so that we remove this thick layer of ignorance which is there, which is engulfing our vision, which is obstructing our perception, our appreciation, our recognition of our own true nature. So the entire effort in Shravana Manana Nididhyasana is to remove the ignorance. And it goes away. It is there not to permanently stay, because that is not the reality and that is not my true nature also. This ignorance, the cause of dukkha, goes away. And a person, as I have also been stressing, the person keeps on making effort to take out the dukkha, to take off the dukkha from one's life, but do not know what is the permanent method. What is the permanent method? The permanent method is only through Shastra, the pramana of the Shastra, where the words have the capacity to drive out the ignorance. And this dukkha, A worldly person may ask, what is all this effort of yours? What is all this effort of yours? In world only there are so many methods available. Why don't you go for that? Why don't you go for that? Or some people conclude also, Sarvam dukkhameva. Life is painful. That's all. There is no solution. That's all. We have to just suffer. That is what is the reality. Now simply don't philosophize something and tell that your nature is of ananda or anything. You are dukkhi only. So there are group of people who say that also. But Vedanta uses a small yukti to show that if dukkha were to be your real nature, you should have been comfortable with it. You should have been very, very comfortable with dukkha. In fact, if something, and also another trick in samsara is that if something is permanent, then it never disturbs us. If dukkha were to be the only one all the time which is there, then no problem at all, because I do not even know what sukha is. So I should have been just comfortable. Dukkha all the time, there's dukkha. Just like there's air around, and we are okay with it. We are used to it because it is always there. So if the dukkha were to be always there, we would have been very comfortable, not complaining at all. Not at all complaining. But then you do have the experience of sukha. You do have these small moments. Puja Swamiji used to say, you do have small glimpses of ananda, swarupa ananda. That ananda which is not coming because of any vishaya, but because of one's own swarupa. That's why Shastra points out the universal experience of deep sleep. No dependency on any vastu, no vishaya, yet there is the experience of ananda. There's nothing there, no house, no nothing. Yet you have this glimpse of happiness. Puja Swamiji used to ask, somebody cracks a joke and you laughed. What desire is fulfilled? What was there? In those few small moments, you do have glimpses of one's own swarupa, which a Vedantin uses as a guiding light to search for the Swarupananda. So one's own Swarupa has to be Ananda, because we are never comfortable with dukkha. Never comfortable with dukkha. And even in worldly context, we are not comfortable with ignorance also. How much you have the scratch in your hand when you constantly want to know about others. What happened in their life. You don't know. And that I don't know is not very comfortable to you. You want to know. You want to know. Puja Swamiji went to preside over a big yajna. In that yajna, the priests were sitting and they were reading newspaper. The Havan has not yet begun. So before the beginning, there is some 5-10 minutes. The priests are reading newspaper, and one more priest is looking into this newspaper, the next person's newspaper. What business that in that context? I mean, everybody ought to know things about the world. In that context, what is there to know? But yet, the mind goes on to know something. Goes on to know something. All your friends, you are decided to meet in a restaurant for dinner. You are 10 minutes late. They are all already talking something. Immediately you go and ask, what are you talking? What are you talking? What is the news? You are uncomfortable with not knowing. You are uncomfortable. 5 minutes you go to restroom and come back. Immediately you want to ask your friends on the table, what is that? What did you talk? No. We are not comfortable with ignorance also. That is also another insight. But then we are not seeking right knowledge. We are seeking knowledge about things, objects and situations, which is never going to quench this thirst of really knowing the real. Being you're uncomfortable with ignorance, you want to know, but you don't know what has to be known. So you keep on knowing limited objects one after the another. That's why Shastra walks in Athato Brahma Jignasa, the first sutra of Brahma Sutra. You keep on knowing this or that limited things. Now know what is to be known. What is to be known is Brahman. So may you understand yourself. And for that, our minds are clouded with words and words of different things, never leading us anywhere, never leading us towards absolute truth. So, bhinne tamasi chaikatvam ekavevanu pashyati. So, the Rishi is telling, once this ignorance is destroyed, one clearly perceives one's own self, which is the truth. If there is a layer of ignorance, if the mind is clouded by ignorance all the time, we can never have real vision of reality. We will always have distorted vision of reality. So I asked one of our young friends, young devotees in Bangalore, to make a special glass to show through an example, what is the distorted vision and what is the real vision. So what is the distorted vision? A layer of ignorance is there. All the time there is a layer of ignorance. So because of a layer of ignorance, you are telling world is dark, it is dukkha, everybody is against me. Bhagavan only gives all the kashtam to me. All problems are in my house only. Nothing, everything is like this, that. You have a distorted vision of reality. But then the Guru comes in, the Shastra comes in and helps you take out the ignorance. How? Ajnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. All you need to do is remove the layer of ignorance. So the real vision is with you all the time. Shastra has not added anything new. So Shabda Maya which was there, it is taken out. That's all is the whole role of Shastra. That's all is the whole effort in Vedanta also. So that's all. So clear vision is there. You have to remove which does not belong to you. So this Shastra Jnanam removes Ahankara and Mamakara fully. Thus you have the clear vision of reality as it is. So that person, due to ignorance, you are unable to reach the lotus called Atma. So you remove the ignorance, you have it. You have won the game of life. You have made it. You have attained the moksha purushartha. Because the Atma Chaitanya is that which is ever present. What is obstructing your vision, you must take it out. That's all Shastra is stressing to us. Moving further. Shabdaksharam param brahma tasmin kshine yadaksharam tadvidvanaksharam dhyayet yadichet shantimatmanaha. Now the Upanishad spoke about the nature of self. Nature of self, nature of jiva is the true nature of Paramatma also. Can we call something which is limited as Paramatma, as Bhagavan? No. Bhagavan has to be limitless. Can we call something with parts as Bhagavan? No, we cannot call something with parts as Bhagavan. Something with birth, which has an expiry date also, can we call it as Bhagavan. No. Swamiji, what about Avatara? We celebrate Krishna Janmashtami, Ramanavami, etc. As though birth. Avatara, that's why. Avatara. The imperishable, unchanging Brahman has never changed. It is manifesting as another name and form. Another name and form. So, the nature of Jiva, whatever this Tvampada we are analyzing about you, whatever is the analysis, the what you arrive at is also the nature of Paramatma. That is what other Upanishads equate through Mahavakyas and make us realize that you are not some silly individual, not you are part of the whole or anything. Your true nature is the nature of the whole also. There's no difference between your nature and Bhagavan's nature. So that is what other Upanishads, where Mahavakyas are found, stress about this aspect. Now, Upanishad is having spoken about one's true nature, which is Nirguna, Nirvikalpa, Nirakara Atma. Upanishad is now giving an upasana and also taking us towards Nididhyasanam. Upasana, upa-asana. To sit near. To sit near what? Something. So sit near upasana. Can watching television be upasana then? Because you are sitting near the television. Upasana. No. Why? Upasana is always about Utkrishta Vastu. Something which is higher than you. Something which is higher than you. That is Upasana. Now, Upasana, sitting near to Bhagavan in the temple, can that be an Upasana? Yes. Can be a Upasana. Because you are sitting near a form of the Lord in a close context. You are concentrating your mind on Bhagavan. That can be Upasana. Can Japa, Mantra Japa be a Upasana? Yes. You have put the mind near the name which indicates the Bhagavan. So, Japa is also a Upasana. But there is a small limitation in this Upasana. How near can you go to Bhagavan? So, suppose you are a devotee, you can sit near the first step of the Dakshinamurti temple. Because of our Agama Shastras, the entry into Garbhagriha is limited, restricted to priests or yatis. That's all. Okay, fine, you are a priest or a yati. So you can have much more closer upasana. You are sitting near the feet of Dakshinamurti inside the temple. Then also there is gap between you and Dakshinamurti. Isn't it so? Okay. Now I will hug Dakshinamurti and sit near. In your home or something, you take a vigraham or a photo and tightly holding the form and sitting near. Still there is gap. Still there is gap. So this, but even though there is this limitation in upasana, because you are never the upasya vastu. You are always separate from the upasya vastu, that on which you are concentrating or focusing your mind. So my teacher Swami Tattvavidhananji, in his previous days, even before he came into sannyasa or Pujya Swamiji and all, so he once went to Kanyakumari. So he was very focused on upasana. And he sat there in the temple. He wanted to do upasana, so he sat very near to the Garbhagriham, it seems. So he was very focused, he sat near the Garbhagriham. So he wanted to do, he is constantly looking at the deity, the Bhagavan there, and then doing upasana. Then the priest came, hey, what are you doing? Get up. It's time for Harati is over. How long will you sit? I have to lock and go for lunch. So you go away. So Upasana will have its own limitation like this. Any upasana you take, even though you want to focus, there may not be a possibility. And how near can you go? How close can you go? There also comes a limitation. Truly, what culminates as upasana? What should upasana culminate into is nididhyasana, where there is no separation between you and the upasya vastu. Because nididhyasana is abiding in your own true nature. There is no duality there. You as a knower, knowing, focusing, concentrating on yourself. No. That's why in meditation many times you get the guidance or instruction, just be. Just be. No need to focus. No effort involved. Just to abide as yourself. Effort is required to abide as something else. As the personality. As deha. So much effort is involved. Observe it yourself. But just to be, just to drop everything, there's no effort involved. We are not used to it, that's all. There's effort involved to hold on to it. What effort is involved if you have to let go of it? No effort involved. To hold on only, there is all the effort. To let go, there is simply, it's not at all an effort. So in nididhyasana, you let go of all names, all forms, all misconceptions about you, and you just abide as yourself. For to make this happen, Shastra is giving one upasana, and it culminates as nididhyasana. Shabdaksharam param brahma tasmin kshine yadaksharam. Now, the Shastra is taking help of Omkara, the symbol for reality, symbol for Brahman. You start with meditating upon Omkara as the Brahman, as a symbol for Brahman, as Avastatraya, and the silence which follows may you recognize as that imperishable Brahman, that Nirguna Nirakara Niranjana Brahma. Why? Very beautifully the Rishi is as though comparing Brahmavastu, Atma Tattva with silence, because sound has vikara. Silence has what? No vikara. Sound has a beginning. Does silence have a beginning? Sound has an end. Om. The sound ended. Is there an end to silence? Or did the silence begin at the point where the sound ended? No. The silence has been. Sound came and sound ended. There is always a background of changeless silence. And that is compared with Brahma. That is compared to your own self. Thus, Upanishad is suggesting that first you meditate upon Omkara as the Brahman. Omkara Upasana. Take the sound symbol as Om. Yesterday we have been doing that meditation. Now, initially to train the mind for Chitta Ekagrata and Chitta Naischalyam, for the focus of mind and the purity of mind, first focus on the sound Omkara. So 3 times you chant Omkara and dwell on the sound symbol Omkara. Really speaking, from the Vaidika context, Om is only sound symbol. Later on, to represent that sound, we got the Om. So in the Veda context, Om is sound symbol. Pujya Swamiji was very particular about it. That's why usually in Gurukulam, in Arshavidya Gurukulam, you don't find Om photographs, like big Om or painting of Om, because Swamiji wanted us to understand that Om is a sound symbol, not the written symbol in the Vedic context. But later, to represent that sound, we got the letter, which is also okay. If somebody has Om painting and Om this thing, absolutely fine, nothing. But we ought to know the Vedic insight, the Rishi's insight into Omkara. Now may you meditate upon Omkara as the Brahman, as a representation of Parabrahman. Then as the sound of the Om fades and merges into that silence, may you recognize that silence as the Avastatraya Sakshi. And Mandukya Upanishad technically gives it the name Turiya. So it is not some new fourth state. This is where people get confused also. 3 states of experience: waking, dream and deep sleep. So moksha is the 4th state, Atma is the 4th state. So 3 states and enlightenment is the 4th stage. No, it is not a new stage. Just as in that cooling glass example I showed you, your true nature is ever present. But you are identified with the Avastatraya, Shariratraya, Panchakosha. You remove it and what is you is ever present. What is you is ever present. So that is what the Shastra has suggested. And Tadvidvan aksharam dhyayet yadichet shantimatmanah. Upanishad is giving a advice and instruction. A person, a wise person, that means what? A person who is sadhana chatushtaya yuktaha, that person shall meditate upon this aksharam brahma, which will take him to his own swarupa, which is shantihi, which is there all the time. That is what Upanishad is saying. Moving further, Dve vidye veditavye tu Shabda Brahma Param Chayat Shabda Brahmani Nishnataha Param Brahmadhi Gacchati. Dve vidye veditavyaha. Shastra is telling, may you know 2 kinds of meditations, upasanas. Vidya is also called as meditation in Shastra. Vidya means not only knowledge. In Mundakopanishad context, where the Rishi is telling there are 2 types of Vidya, Paravidya and Aparavidya, 2 types of knowledge. One knowledge concerning only with Nama Rupas of the external world, and one Vidya which reveals the nature of self. So here Vidya shall be taken as meditation. What is that? 2 meditations are to be performed. One is meditation and another one is nididhyasana. One is upasana, one is nididhyasana. With the same background, you can very easily appreciate it. One is Shabda Brahma Upasana and another one is Parabrahma Upasana. Shabda Brahma Upasana is meditating upon the sound symbol Omkara as the Brahma Tattva. You are trying to understand, you are not yet reached your understanding. So you are designating Omkara as the symbol for Parabrahman and meditating upon that Omkara. Or slightly, if you want to add another layer of interpretation, the Shabda Brahma can be taken as Saguna Brahma. The reality, you are looking at the reality with reference to the manifestation, which is the world, as the Jagat Karta, Ishvara, as the cause of the entire world, as the Karana Brahma. You are looking upon the Omkara as a symbol for Ishvara. Or you can do this Shabda Brahma Upasana also as meditating on one form of Ishvara also. Ishtadevata Upasana. Or appreciating the manifestation, the entire Jagat as Ishvara. As the entire world of name and form, this huge world is all governed by so many basic laws, basic principles. There's a Maha order, and which we call as the Lord, which we call as God, which we call as Bhagavan, which we call as Ishvara. So can be Ishvaropasana also. And this Ishvaropasana, this Saguna Brahma Upasana or Shabda Brahma Upasana leads you to Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Nirguna Brahma Upasana becomes Nididhyasanam. This leads you to that. Why? Here you have the appreciation for Shabda Brahma. Your mind is focused. Chitta Ekagrata is there. Chitta Shuddhi is there. Chitta Naischalyam is there. And you move with that mind, such a mind which just hears some Shastra gets the Jnanam. The Jnanam is destroyed. Thus you recognize the Parabrahma. That's how every Upasana has the power to take you to one step higher. One step higher. That's why in this context, every religious form, every religious tradition, every religious in the dharma sphere, we get the meditations, upasanas, pujas, or everything can be a vehicle for you to give, for you to gain anthakarana shuddhi, chitta shuddhi, chitta ekagrata. Thus with such a mind, when even minimum shravana manana nididhyasana happens, such mind gains the knowledge. That's why everything has its place. There should be a place for everything, and everything should be in its place. So Vedanta is not opposed to anything. You want to use anything as a stepping stone to recognize and realize Brahman, that becomes your sadhana. That becomes your sadhana. That's how you move forward. So Shabda Brahmani Nishnataha Parabrahmadi Gacchati. So Upanishad is telling, one who is steady, one who is skilled, one who has kushalata, one who has steadiness in the Shabda Brahma Upasana, that person eventually definitely goes on to appreciate, recognize Nirguna Parabrahma, which is ever present. Which is ever present. That's how Upanishad is taking our understanding forward. Moving further, Grantham Abhyasya Medhavi Jnana Vijnana Tatparaha Phalalamiva Dhanyarthi Tyajet Grantham Asheshataha. Vasana means a tendency. Vasana means a tendency, an impression. Shastra talks about three types of vasanas. One is Deha Vasana. Second one is Loka Vasana. Third one is Shastra Vasana. Deha Vasana is the tendency always to take the Deha itself as ultimate. All the time taking Deha itself to be the ultimate reality. So you keep on indulging with the Deha. With upkeep of Deha, minimum maintenance everybody needs, but then you are obsessed about Deha. One, your Deha and all other Dehas. That is the Deha Vasana. Entire beauty industry, cosmetic industry, and all industries are standing only because the person has so much Deha Vasana, so much Deha Vasana, so much Deha Vasana. See, sometimes we come to religion, religious practices, dharmic sadhanas, then also Deha Vasana doesn't go that easily. The person was a regular person, going to the office, doing that and this and that. He had a very strong, this Laukika names and Laukika identity. Very strong. I am the managing director of this particular company. I am the general manager. I am the this. I am that. Very strong Laukika identity the person had. The person never went to temple, never did proper pujas, nothing. All he was involved was with this strong Dehavasana. After that, something happened, the person became very religious. He started many religious practices, japa, tapas, going to temples, yatra, this, that, getting involved with some Pandit pravachanans in temples, etc. Now, the Laukika identity is loosened a bit. All the time he was identified that I am general manager, that is gone. But now a new Vaidika identity has come to him. He says, I belong to this Gotra. This is this Nakshatram. I am this, I am that, this Kula, this Shakha. So this Veda. So very strong identity has come. Nothing has changed. A new identity for the Deha. New identity for the Deha. So before this, that person was dressing up in a different way. Now the person put some chandanam, vibhuti, this, that, thinking that he is a big bhakta now. So Tyagaraja Swami says, Teliyaleru Rama Bhakti Margamunu, Teliyaleru Rama. వేగిలేచి నీట మునిగి భూతి పూసి వేళలేంచి వెలిగి శ్లాఘనీయులయ్యి భాగపైక మార్జనలోలుడై రేగాని త్యాగరాజ వినుత తెలియలేరు రామ భక్తి మార్గమును తెలియలేరు Rama. Tyagaraja says, these people don't know anything. These people really don't know what bhakti is. They have taken bhakti to be waking up early in the morning, they consider as bhakti. Waking up early in the morning, then all birds should be enlightened then. All birds should have been the greatest bhaktas because they wake up even before all of us. And they take bath and put munigi bhuti pusi, vibhuti or chandanam, whatever you keep. Just because you keep chandanam, you don't become a big bhakta. And they do marjana, which is part of Sandhya Vandan, etc. And they say, Tyagaraja is not even saying that they do japa. Vela lenchi. He's not telling it as japa sadhana. He's telling counting of the beads. They are not doing japa. He's telling they are counting the beads, which they take. With all this, they take themselves to be big bhaktas. So even though Tyagaraja is not criticizing any of this, nor Vedanta is criticizing any of these practices. But then, with Dehavasana, if you keep on doing everything, you will be at that level only, never grow, in spite of a big religious practice. Because why? Out of all that japa, you are only wanting more money. Sankalpa is that. So many people are so obsessed with Sankalpa, and nowadays priests also, priestcraft it is. Because these priests also they have understood people have very big Dehavasana. So their Sankalpas are so elaborate, bigger than the pujas. They have come up with new title, Mahasankalpa. So recently for one of, I was to preside over a Kumbhabhishekam. I asked the priest to get the Sankalpa. It is 8 pages. 8 pages what? It is Shubhe Shobhane Muhurte Adhya Brahmana Dvitiya Parardhe Shvetavaraha Kalpe Vaivasvata Manvantare Kaliyuge Prathame Pade Jambudvipe Bharata Varshe. From Jambudvipa we start. This person is starting with universe. This, that, simply extra words. Extra words. And That Chaturvida Purusharthe, that is take, that also Griha, Dhana, Pati, Patni, this, that, vessels, TV, thank God. Simply Sanskrit words, that's all. So Dehavasana is there, and that is indicated by your Sankalpa. And people get very angry. Panditji, did you do Sankalpa? Did you do Sankalpa? Everybody gets alert in the Sankalpa. The priest does the Sankalpa. Immediately after Sankalpa, then priest will say, Sankalpa is over. Coffee ready irka? This is our Upasana, this is our Bhakti. So, Dehavasana, there's a strong body orientation. Whatever you do is for body alone. And then Lokavasana, you have over obsession with Loka. All the time you want to be involved with Loka. And you take pride in your Dehavasana, you take pride in your Lokavasana. You take pride in the Lokavasana. That you have certain things, or you are well traveled, or you have seen many things, many places. You have had good positions or bad positions. That is also Lokavasana, always sticking to our bitter experiences. I have not gone anywhere. I don't have anything. So either one leads to inferiority complex, another leads to superiority complex, finally complex. So Lokavasana, strong sense of identity you are deriving out of Deha, strong sense of identity you are deriving out of Loka. And then with the same attitude, suppose you come to Shastra. Now you have a strong Shastra Vasana, meaning you are taking pride and a great identity through Shastra. That I am a Shastri. I am the learned one. I know this many Upanishads. I have done 3 years course. I am a learned sannyasi. All this can be Shastra Vasana. What has gone? Nothing has changed. The type of Vasana has changed, that's all. Same old fool is sitting inside and it is embellished with Shastras now. So if a donkey goes on a pilgrimage, it doesn't come back as a horse. It will come back as a donkey only. So, in spite of so much Shastra, the tiny person who is waiting to identify and cling on to something, that person is not gone. That person is not gone. There is no appreciation for the vastness, fullness of life, and that Purnata which comes out of Shastric understanding. So that person who's discovered fulfillment to Shastra, through Shastra, is a different category altogether. That is a Jnani. For him, Shastra is not another Vasana. There may be tendency to just hold on to at the level of Vachyartha, tendency to accumulate just knowledge of one after another, one Upanishad after another. There may be just that tendency having come to Vedanta. So do not become a information specialist, become a transformation specialist. Shastra is guiding us. Grantam abhyasya medhavi jnana vijnana tatparaha. So one of an intelligent person, medhavi, one who has the intelligence, viveka jnanam, to separate what is real, what is unreal, what is a sadhana, what is the sadhya, what is milk and what is water. So such a person, that intelligent person, having gone through the study of the Shastra, before that only do not give up the Shastra. Having gone through the study of the Shastra, systematic study of the Shastra under a able Acharya for a length of time, which is Shravanam, And Shravanam should not just stop at that, should not stop. After that, you do Mananam. What is Mananam? You reflect on what you have heard independently. It's like the cow takes the grass and eats. And then there is a cavity where it will store some grass and keep on chewing it and absorbing the essence from that grass. So that is Mananam. You keep on inquiring about the words of the Shastra, using the background of Shravana, all the time reflect upon that teaching so that you absorb more and more, absorb more and more. All the doubts get cleared at the level of Shravana and Manana. You did Shravana and then you went back to your room. When you had a quiet moment, you reflected upon the teachings and you got a doubt. Again Shravanam, you go to the Guru, you ask the question, you clarify it, or you do some more Shravanam. The magic of Shastra Shravanam is all our doubts keep on getting answered as even we keep on attending classes. That I think that must be experience of many of you. That's how, if you look at your own Shravana experience from your Gurus, what you have done, that you, of course you can ask doubt, but you need not be feverish about it. Oh, I have this doubt, I have this doubt, I have this doubt. You listen next class or the next class, it will get answered. It will get answered. And every student would feel that the teacher is as if addressing him or her. Pujya Swamiji, like a full, there would not be space to sit also. When he would give lectures from this Vyasapitha, that's how the class used to be. We used to fight for our chairs. You're all lucky, you need not do that now. So fight means we are so eager that our spot is not disturbed. Because it was universal experience of the entire class that everybody used to feel that Swamiji is addressing me. So some youngsters, we came this thing in recent editions, used to feel, hey, did you observe? Swamiji was looking at me throughout the lecture and talking to me only. And other person came, new person, he also says, no, hey, Swamiji was looking at me only. So that's the glory of these great Mahatmas, where in their presence, all our doubts get answered and all the clarity comes forth. So that is the Manana. You chew upon what you have heard, you make notes if it's necessary, if you feel connected. So, and then look into it, look into few points, and then dwell on it. And if you need clarification, you do further Shravana. And then use the practice of guided Nididhyasanam. Finally, Nididhyasanam without any guidance also, just abiding in yourself, and that is not limited to time. The final Nididhyasana is not only 7:15 to 7:45 or 8, it will be 24/7. It is not Nididhyasana is not like I did half an hour Nididhyasana in the morning. That is okay to start with. But then it culminates in discovering and recognizing your own true Swarupa, and that is not time frame related. You are the witness of even time. You recognize that in and throughout the day. That is where Nididhyasanam culminates. So after this, what is the role of Shastra? Suppose you have gained Jnanam through the sadhana of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Should I put all my Shastra books for the paper person so that he gives me some money? No, no. A Sanatana Dharmi can never imagine such a thing. That which has given me this knowledge, even though now it has given me knowledge, it may not have personal use for me anymore, but that reverential attitude never goes away. Never goes away. That's why this culture doesn't step on a paper, doesn't step on a book. It may not be relevant to me anymore, but it is relevant to somebody who is seeking moksha. So one fine day it will get its use. So that's how it is understood in the Shastra. Jnanis never are interested in teaching or anything. They are by themselves. It is the student who wants Jnanam who goes to the Jnani and says, Madartham smara, for my sake, you please remember the method in which you were taught and teach the same method to me so that I gain the knowledge. The Guru has let go of the methods, let go of the prakriyas, let go of the shastra, everything. And he is the Parabrahma itself. He is abiding in that self all the time. But the student goes and requests the Guru, for my sake you remember, for my sake you recollect and share it with me so that I gain jnanam. So here Upanishad is telling, after undergoing the Upanishadic training, after undergoing the Shastric training, may you let go of the Shastra Vasana also. Never be attached to Shastra Vasana, never try to derive any new identity out of Shastra, saying that I am learned, I know all this. I know, if you say you are still at the level of the Karta, Jnata. Kartritvam and Jnatritvam has not left. It is all limited. So, you are not established in the Atma Chaitanya. So, do not derive any identity from Shastra except your true identity as the whole Tattvamasi Aham Brahmasmi. Except that, now do not derive any new identity. I am learned. I am more learned than him. I am less learned than him. There may be various variations in the amount of words and amount of knowledge from one sannyasi to another, one person to another, one teacher to another. It's all okay. The point is, have you made it? Are you established in the peace? Are you established abiding in Atma Tattva? That is the question. So Shastra is telling, now the Upanishad is telling, having gone through this study, let go of the Shastra. How you let go of the husk? After separating it from the rice. You keep the rice and let go of the husk. So similarly, what is the intended meaning, implied meaning of the words? Is you. You hold on to yourself. You abide in yourself and let go of all other aspects of Shastra. When having gone through. So, a Brihaspati may come and say, oh, Upanishad is telling to let go of Shastra. Oh, very good. I thought I have to study all this now. Very safe. AMRITABINDHU Upanishad is telling, let go of all the Shastras. Yeah, your ignorance will remain forever. Becomes even more solidified. So, you hold on to what is to be held on to. Rest of it, you put it aside. You let go of the Shastra means in spirit. That the Shastra has blessed me and done what it has to do. Now I only have reverential attitude towards the Shastra, truly established in my own non-duality, in my own oneness of Swarupa. Thus the role of Shastra and Guru also has come to an end for only a Jnani. Na Gurur na Shishyaha. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. We'll see further. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. There's been a request that today is Pradosham and there will be a special puja at the temple. Some of you wanted to attend. How many want to attend? Few? Many are interested. That starts at 4:30, I suppose. Now, shall we prepone the class to 3:30 to 4:30? Is that okay for you all? Okay. So the evening class will be from 3:30 to 4:30. All other things same, chanting class followed by 11:30 to 12:30. Swami Sadatmananda ji will take today's class 11:30 to 12:30 today. After that, lunch break, quick nap should come for 3:30 to 4:30 class. Evening chanting will not be there. Evening chanting will not be there. Yeah. 3, tea will be preponed. Yeah, I'll ask them to make it at 3. Okay. Abba.